Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman's Panel. I am your host, Captivating Christian. Here you are at Cap Hill. And of course, I am with the gentleman of the Gentleman's Panel. Of course, you know the executive producer of the bunch, Mr. Jay Wilson.
Jangle bells. Yes, come on.
And our other senior member of the Gentleman's Panel, Mr. Rebel Son.
What up, though?
And of course, Green Envy Ivy, him herself, Conscious TV.
Hello.
And of course, King Payne couldn't be with us tonight, but of course,
King Payne, get your ass out the chat. You couldn't be up in the stream from here.
Can I say something also when you finish? Cap?
Sure. And of course, it wouldn't be Cap Hill without at least inviting a guest to Cap Hill to be a part of the Gentleman's Panel today, and for the first time ever.
Oh my God!
Rico. Rico. It's good.
It's good.
I wanted to add also, Jay, I forgot to tell you, it was Veterans Day last week, and I want to thank you for servicing the country.
No, that's you. You've been servicing the country all over Houston and all over Texas. Yeah.
Well, I was giving I was just paying homage to you.
Oh no, you don't have to pay homage to me. Aren't you going to Gatlinburg to pay homage anyway?
Well, you know what? Y'all doing too much. Anyway, on a more serious note, before we get started, a content creator of these YouTube streets, as we like to say, experienced a loss in her family. So we definitely want to send our prayers out to Bama Girl and her family. That's tough for anybody to go through, and to be able to go through something like that in front of the cameras and still kind of,
prayers out to her.
Definitely prayers go out to her.
Yeah, Bless Watkins lost his sister too.
Definitely. Oh, I'm sorry, I did not know that. Yeah,
condolences to her as well.
To her family.
It was like last week. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sorry to hear that. My condolences to her family as well. All right, so gentlemen, this week, of course, it would not be Cap Hill if we didn't talk about a little politics. So, your president lost. However, he won't concede. He is now pushing to get a lot of the votes removed from counties that are predominantly full of African Americans or people of color. What's your thoughts on that? I'll start with you, Conscious. Any thoughts?
Typical narcissistic bullshit. I mean, what else does one expect from the Trump himself? He's a fat, disgusting, flat-assed, geometrically shaped, bad body, wicked piece of white fucking trash. But so is Joe Biden. So to me,
I think you don't like him.
Well, in part that's right, yes. But Joe Biden isn't any better, so I'm not really feeling relieved that we went from Trump to Biden. I think that they're all white.
Well, I'm glad you voted for him.
Well, yeah.
Well, thank you for your vote.
And you all can thank Captivating Christian for that.
We did.
Okay. But I guess the question actually was, how do you feel about Donald Trump, the current president, taking away votes or trying to take away votes from Black people, whether they voted for him or not? He just feels that, I guess, because they were Black, they probably voted for Biden anyway.
Narcissistic, white trash.
Period.
Got it. Yeah. Duly noted. Brother Wilson, how do you feel?
I just think it's funny that he's so concerned about those votes. Why don't we take the votes away from him in places in rural Wisconsin and places like in Florida? Let's recount those votes as well. It's okay when people vote for him, like Conscious TV said, that narcissism, but I don't think they have a leg to stand on. The votes are going to be certified. There's no evidence of fraud. And I just think that it's baseless, and he just needs to pretty much concede so we can get a handle on this coronavirus. So Biden can really start working with his team. He's already got something, but we can do that. So I think it's absurd. I think Rudy Giuliani looks crazy, and it just doesn't make any sense. And conservative blog talk radio, y'all not making yourself look good. Y'all really look ignorant right now. So
right. And how about you, Rico? Being from Detroit, how does that make you feel that he is really pushing for places in the state of Michigan to kind of, especially African American communities in Detroit, to try and discount their vote? How does that make you feel?
It do makes me like sick to my stomach because like he's completely trash, To me, in my honest opinion, Michigan, yeah, he did try to, but we did get Biden in, so Michigan did get Biden in. I mean, I'm not too much political correct because I really don't follow politics as much. I just know that he's dirty and he'll do anything to try to win, get over. And as far as him trying to take our black votes and stuff away, I mean, that's how he got in the first time, because we didn't go out and vote. So he was shocked that a lot of people and everywhere across town, everything was lined up, and we wanted his ass to out of here, point blank period. So he just trashed in my book.
Got you. How about you, Rebel Son? Thank you.
I think right now it's an act of desperation. He knows he's going to have to be out of there. And Giuliani, he hasn't practiced law in 20, 30 years. For fear of perjury, he had to recant his words when they were asking him, when he was bringing a case before court, and he had to backtrack and, basically say this wasn't any justification to carry a lawsuit forth. So he looks like an idiot. And Mitch McConnell, they're just spineless, just no backbone. And the Republican Party is going to have hell to pay for for the foreseeable future. People, they've lost numbers. And about the vote, why don't we count the Senate seats? People that got voted into Senate, or the seats, these other little small rural counties that voted for Trump. Let's go do a recount across the board.
Right. No, he doesn't do a recount.
If he's 17,000 in front of you and this little country town has 4,000 people, do you think you're gonna have a chance at Hill to get your the electoral vote? He's out of there. Get out of there. January the 20th. You can go voluntarily or involuntarily.
So for those people in Georgia, early voting starts December 14th. Make sure you're voting, because 2 senates are up, and that's going to determine who controls the Senate.
So you have to be registered by December 5th, I do believe.
Yeah, so please be ready, because at the end of the day, I agree exactly with what Rebel said, and I just think it's sad that these politicians are getting ready to go home for Thanksgiving, but couldn't pass a bill to help these people who have lost their job due to COVID during the holidays. I just think that it goes to show you these people are about themselves and not about other people. And I'm talking about Mitch and those Republicans. They're so God-fearing, but yet they don't care about the people and who they're hurting.
So speaking of, and thank you so much, guys, for all your points of view. Definitely spot on. But speaking of relationships and politics, and then we can step out of the politics realm. But just one last question. Lil Wayne broke up with his model girlfriend, or either she broke up with him for support over Joe Biden, that she had over Joe Biden. Of course, Lil Wayne idiotically, I guess, stood by Trump, and I guess thought that was going to deliver some black voters to Trump. But should having a different worldview, beliefs, or political beliefs break a relationship? And this can go for family too, because Thanksgiving is coming, so we should have been under normal circumstances sitting around the table talking about a bunch of different things, and sometimes politics becomes a hot button even at the table. So how do you deal with that in relationships? Are they deal breakers or not? And I'll start with you, Rebel Son.
Listen, if I don't care if you volunteered at children's hospitals or you fed the homeless. If you say you're a Trump supporter, I couldn't be with you, because first off, there's no hope for us, because you're going to support someone that would be against us being together. They may backtrack on that whole marriage equality. I couldn't be with a person like that. I think we would be too much at odds, because everything he stands for, it would be like I'm an alien to me. So no, I couldn't be with a person. And even family, we wouldn't talk about politics. I mean, that's like sexuality or religion. If you can't get into those deep conversations with family, but if we sleep together and we're in a relationship, I couldn't be with you if you were a Trump supporter at all.
All right. And how about you, Conscious? What's your thoughts?
Being not raised up, but coming up gay and same gender loving, and then kind of being a more eccentric type of a male, I'm kind of being marching to the beat of my own drum anyway. So I've had to grow up kind of adapting to people having a difference of opinion, people having a difference of beliefs. With that being said, I can be extremely flexible in a relationship with somebody who has different beliefs. To me, the bigger issue would be having the same principles in which we live by. I don't care if you believe that Jesus died on the cross for you and I worship the goddamn moon, or you believe, or you voted for Trump and I voted for Biden. If you believe in social, economical, political prosperity and equality for all people, somewhere between the way you think and the way that I think, even if there's a difference in worldview, we're going to meet in the middle if we are agreeing on the same principles. So it wouldn't be an issue for me personally.
Gotcha. And how about you, Rico? What's your views?
Okay, my view is with the whole political thing, I actually wouldn't care, because everyone has their own beliefs and stuff like that. So I don't try to force my political beliefs on anyone else. But would I date someone knowing that they a Trump supporter? No, I wouldn't. But I mean, sometimes like you can be in love with a person, just like how we support like we just mentioned Lil Wayne, and he the biggest rapper out here that's our generation or whatever, and look what he doing. You know what I'm saying? So like, and we still represent him and listen to his music and everything like that. So it's a lot of people that's undercover that are Trump supporters. I just couldn't see myself doing that, because I had a sort of kind of friendship with an atheist before. And I was trying to teach him about God and stuff like that. But some things, and he was a Trump supporter too, and we bashed and clicked heads and whatnot. So like, I just know for me, you have to first love God first, in any type of relationship. And political, I mean, it is what it is, because at the end of the day, we was Republicans before it was ever Democrat. And let me just say this also: God never created religion or politics. That's just my standpoint.
I get you. Jay Wilson.
First of all, 50 Cent said Lil Wayne probably got paid. So
both of them got
I don't want to hear nothing that
50 said. He said he probably got paid
because he was about to jump on the bandwagon too for some tag.
Yeah, I know, but I don't listen to Lil Wayne, and Yeah, so congratulations for that woman for saying goodbye, whoever. I think she's done the right thing. I am really okay with people of different religions, different thoughts. It's cool. But far as a Trump supporter, I don't think so. And I go on the lines of rebel because it takes a certain type of person. And I look at this guy who has bullied, who's just said ugly things about all people, not only Black people, but Spanish people. And I just think he has some problems, and it just goes to show in the future of Black person, why? That would be my question. And if you're a white person, then I'm like, what kind of views? Do you think he's smart? Do you think what, So I don't think I could date a Trump supporter. I could date a George W. Bush supporter, but I couldn't do a Trump supporter.
Well, what makes the difference? Can I ask you a question? What makes the difference between Trump and Bush? Because Bush was even worse than his father.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. At least Bush had some dignity. I'm not crazy about some things that he's done, but if you had a business and you were about that, then it was cool. I think he got along even with the president that defeated him, and they had a cordial situation going on. I don't think what's going on in the White House now is a cool thing. You lost the election. You should be trying to help Biden. You should be thinking about the country and not yourself. And that's the thing that I have a problem with Trump. It's a self thing. And it's a very visible self thing. Not to say that some people don't have self things going on, period, but it's such a self thing. You don't care anything about the country. You just care about what you can get. And I think that's the big thing with me. He's just not the type of person that I would espouse. At least Bush, at the end of the day, had some morals and knew how to leave the White House and do certain things. And he does look more presidential than Trump.
But didn't Kanye West said that Bush didn't care about Black people?
Isn't that interesting?
How ironic,
Well,
exactly. But now he's running with Trump and wearing the neck cap. So
he did say that. I just something about Trump that just sparks the worst in people. And you got Proud Boys and clans and people who are white supremacists feeling empowered by that person. That's a problem. Again, you got people suffering, and you're using political power to hold up stimulus money that could help these people who lost jobs by no fault of their own.
Right.
You're always blaming other people. The China virus. Well, you were praising China before all of this stuff happened. So I just 251,000 people dead at this particular point. I can't. I can't.
With 11 million infected. I mean,
I can't deal with the situation.
It really is crazy. All right.
Add something.
Sure. Go ahead.
I have a distinct image of Bush sitting in a children's classroom reading a book while Secret Service came over and whispered to him that 2 commercial airliner planes ran through the World Trade Center, and he wanted to continue to read his children's book.
Right. But you know what? He's a goofy.
The truth is that none of these people care about Black people, Black trans people, Black women, any minority of persons. That goes for Obama, that goes for Bush, that goes for Clinton, that goes for Hillary, that goes for Abraham Lincoln, that goes and goes for Kennedy, that goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes.
Well, Conscious, you just don't like politics, but believe it or not,
no, I just don't like the evil ass motherfuckers in 2-piece suits.
Okay, well,
I feel the same way, Conscious, because I feel like
hold on. We can't hear everybody.
Run, Conscious. You live in a town, you can run. We just got a trans person, in the state Senate in Virginia. So run.
And 2 openly gay men in New York. What was you about to say, Rico?
No, I was saying I do get his point where it's like all the politicians are dirty because none of them has, even though they say what they're gonna do for us, what have they done for us as a black hole, as a community? Like what he just said, even for the gay people or whatever, even when Barack got in, he did try to do some things. I'm not going to down Barack Obama, but I feel like he could have done better doing things for us since we got him in.
Yeah, but the
And
truth
we
of the matter is we didn't support him, though. We didn't support him in midterm, so then they were able to flip the Senate and Congress, so he wouldn't have been able to get anything done.
And he's the president of the United States. So those people who didn't have health insurance got health insurance. And unfortunately, I got laid off and I had to use it. And it helped me out a great deal. So my thing is he's the president of the United States, not of the black states, but for the
Exactly.
read his book though, because I think his book is going to be interesting. And you know, as far as the Bush situation, yeah, he was a silly frat boy, but you know, again, look what we have now. And like I said, what do black people need to do? They need to say, "Hey, Joe Biden, we got you in for those black." And Rico, white gay people have benefited from politics. Don't get it twisted. Don't think that benefit. Black people, even in the LGBTQ, are always left behind. So don't.
That's why I said we are always left behind in a lot of stuff. We still fight for our rights, just as growing up being gay and black. Like, come on now, like it's not nothing being done for us neither as much.
But even Obama had a battle with the Senate because Mitch McConnell said he was going to make it hell for
one-term president. Yeah,
they weren't going to approve anything for him to go forth. They wanted him to be one term. Exactly.
Yeah, and we think these people have a stroke of magic. You know, you got to battle with interest groups, lobbyists, corporations. So, you know, that's why a lot of these politicians are hitting the phone line because, you know, you may not do what somebody wants you to do, and the next thing you know, there's a opponent running against you. So my thing is, we need to take business out of the politics. The lobbyists out of top. We don't have lobbyists, but I guarantee you, Enron, even though they're not a company anymore, but I guarantee you they did.
Sure,
they had a seat at the table.
Excuses.
It's really amplifying the system. It's not an excuse. The problem is that we don't know the system. And
this is why I said excuses, because I thought it was so fascinating that people were able to mention that these presidents aren't the president of the black community. They're the president of the United States, yet openly spoke about what those presidents did for the LGBTQIA community, what those presidents have also done for the religious community. It seems like every damn community is able to benefit from these folks, aside from black and brown folk.
Wealthy black people have benefited.
Yes, wealthy black
people have benefited. Don't be twisted.
So I'm about to untwist it, because when I say black and brown folk, I'm damn sure excluding privileged black folk. I'm talking about black.
Exactly, because it's a middle class and a high class and a low class, and it's not really a middle class either. You either high or you poor.
Well,
to me.
Well, we need to start voting for people on the local and the state level and stop being so focused.
Yeah, that's where it was
on federal.
That's definitely where it would start.
Yeah. Well, can I say one more thing? Let me say this. Prairie View A&M is a good example of power. And of course, that's not too far from where Rebel is in Waller County.
Family members that attend Prairie View. 3.
Yeah. What's really interesting about that situation there is the college is bigger than the whole, far as the population is bigger than the whole county. They were trying to disenfranchise those students because those students have power, political power. And Waller County is a predominantly white, really racist county. That's where Sandra Bland was killed, unfortunately. So that college has political power, period. People are trying to take it, but they have political power. And that's a good indication of what people have to do.
Right.
We don't get along with each other because somebody don't like this, somebody don't like that person, and we can't strategize. One thing I will say about Caucasian people, baby, they may not like each other, but they will sure get together for a cause that they think is important.
That is true. That is true. They will stand behind each other on that. Anybody had any final closing?
Yeah, well, they stand behind each other because they haven't had 400 years plus of fucking cattle slavery. They've never been fucking in bondage. They're not suffering from no post-traumatic stress syndrome. They're not coming from a race that has dealt with any of the intersections and nuances of what.
It's true, but we know how it works.
So I'm sure that white people do have a healthy sense of community and a healthy sense of togetherness and a healthy sense of.
So when are we going to get there? Are we going to have leaders to get there? It's obvious we can do it because we've done it.
Some we voted in, of course.
Some of it is.
Hold on. If they could bus boycott in Montgomery and black folks say we ain't gonna get on the bus to bring it down, and those people didn't have all the education, it can be done. Right. It can be done. So I know it can be done because it has been done. So you're right. But it can be done. That's all.
That starts within as well. We have to get out of this crab in a bucket type of mindset. When you see someone doing good, we can uplift each other and not hate on each other.
Right.
You know, I think the support has to start within if we want to go somewhere. We can't blame everything on the white man all the time.
Yes, we can. Yes,
but
how do
you grow from that?
We're gonna still be doing it because we gotta pull out. We have to work extra hard, you know, just to.
But can I say this too? It's always gonna be you said we can't always blame the white man. I kind of disagree because we always gonna be by the tone of our skin is always gonna be racism, and the system not gonna be designed for us to make it either way.
But you know what, Rico? We're not our grandparents.
Right.
There are more interracial marriages. There are going to be black people that look like white people that are going to identify as black people. So I think that we're evolving as people. Of course, there's racist people. I'm in the South. My grandparents experienced racism. I've had cousins experience it, but I think we do have to stop being our own worst enemies as well. We have to be accountable for some of the shit that we're doing.
Right.
Yeah, and the sad part about it too, Jewish people have gone through mess. And you know what? One thing I will say about them is they say, I'll never forget. And let me tell you, they're going to tell their kids the history. They know the history. We don't. We know Lil Wayne, but we don't know our history.
Conscious, I'll let you have the last go and we'll move on.
Good. Fuck them. Next subject.
All right. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with her.
Her on which one? On the left?
But Jaguar Wright, has been spilling a lot of tea over the past 2 months about a lot of artists she personally felt did her wrong, like Erykah Badu, Mary J. Blige, so on and so forth. Jill Scott as well. So my question to you fellas was, should you ever spill someone else's tea? And are we just as bad for waiting from a sip from this Satan cup of, I guess, nosy business that don't have nothing to do with us? And my first person, Conscious, how about you? What are your thoughts?
I gotta go first.
Yeah.
Look, I feel like all is fair. If it's a bitch who done scooted on you. But in terms of like spreading people's tea for the sake of spreading their tea and getting in their shit for the sake of getting in their shit, no. Jaguar Wright is telling a lot of people's truths that she ain't got a ball and nappy-headed right to be telling because it ain't her shit to fucking tell. And she talking about bitches who ain't never been up in her pussy, who ain't never put they dick sucker on her. So I'm not really quite sure why she is doing the absolute fucking most. But any bitch who she's got a personal quarrel with, oh yeah, let the wrath of God rain down on the bitch. Like, I mean, all is fair in love, and I believe it's war, right? That's WAR, war.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, yeah. So, Yeah, and we are just as bad, unfortunately. I mean, we are a shitty ass society of people who love to see people exposed, who love to see people hurt, who love to see people dragged through the fucking mud. And when we sit up under that and press like on those videos and purchase those tabloids and click on those blogs and participate in all that rhetoric, yes, we're just as fucked up, ridiculous, and sick in the spirit as the people who are spilling it. If it ain't personal, if this ain't your fight, stay the fuck up out of it.
Okay. How about you, Jay Wilson?
You know that I see where conscience is coming, and I'm a little torn because she's only verifying what people have known about the industry all along. Unfortunately, it is exposing people. I believe some of the stuff that she's saying because I believe the industry is just that corrupt. However, just like you spill it, just be prepared for somebody to spill something about you. So what you dish out, you better be able to take. I don't get joy in people's calamity and downfall. However, you know, a lot of people put stuff on which they shouldn't put on, and then when people talk about it, they get upset. So in Jaguar Wright situation, I'm torn. My question is why now? Because that was the system that benefited her. So why now?
Did it benefit her? Is the question too.
Well, yeah, why now though? That's my question. Why now, and what do you have to gain, and what is your end goal for doing this? That would be my question for her. I'm a little torn though, because it's really interesting, and I would tell people who plan to go into the industry to look for her, because I think there's a lesson to be told. There's a lesson to be learned. Unfortunately, people's lives are being put out there, and yeah, that's the sad part. That's the sad part about it.
And how about you, Rebel? Your thought?
She comes across as like a bitter ex-girlfriend or boyfriend that just can't let it go. Listen, you know, spilling tea like that on everybody. Some of these people, I haven't never seen them say anything about her. And it's like, what's your end game, sis? You know, what's your end game? Because you're like on this, you're going around on this campaign to just, it seems like you're trying to tarnish everyone's image. It's the equivalency of that guy that wants to brag about you putting out on the first night, but you're laughing because you're like, well, I slept with you. So if you calling me somebody that's wild, aren't you wild too? What the hell?
Right.
And he didn't have 9.5, he had 5.9.
Oh, 9.5.
Anyway, Rico, your thoughts?
Rico, get off that phone. Focus. You know, making appointments. Focus.
Making appointments.
Well, at least my jack didn't go off.
You know what? Hold on. But I'm a grown man, and if it did, I don't have no problem.
Oh, God. All right, Rico. Your thought.
All right, y'all know it wouldn't be me if I don't be shady. But the answer, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
The question was Jaguar Wright situation. With her dealing with that, would you feel comfortable spilling somebody else's tea? Or on the other end, do you feel just as bad or just as guilty as a person watching someone else spill someone's tea as a subscriber or watcher?
I would have to agree with kind of Rebel and Jay Wilson on this one. Because it's kind of like messed up in a way, because it's not fair for nobody to spill nobody's tea, but at the same time, we all know the industry is fake and it's dark, and there's a lot of dirty secrets that's going on, in which the Illuminati and stuff is real. So a lot of people have insiders, just like I can bring up what's his name that was in part of UGK, the one that died, Pimp C or whatever. before he died or whatever, he was talking a lot. They say he was running his mouth too much, talking about how a lot of people is gay in the industry, puffy, and I mean a lot of this stuff we already knew already. My thing is too, like, why come out with it now, like 20 years or something ago? Unless she felt some type of way or being blackballed or something like that. But I don't think it's right for nobody to spill nobody else's tea, because I've been in that situation, and it's best to, like you said, spill your own tea before anybody else do it, and steady your ish, and you ain't gotta worry about nobody coming out.
So I got a question. So is Monique wrong for spilling that tea? And I think she's justified.
No, I do not think that she was wrong. And a lot of people is still talking about her to this day and still blackballed. That's why I say it's like a 50, 20, 20 type of vision or whatever, as you call it. Because some stuff you want to let out to know how dirty these mother effers is. I mean, stop cussing, but a lot of these dirty people is in the industry, and a lot of people don't know, so you might as well tell it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that she was wrong in that, and she was justified, because Oprah is dirty. She another person that's wealthy and black like us and exploiting our business and stuff like that and putting people down. So that's my take on that.
Anybody have any other questions? Any final?
I'll also say no, Monique, because in my dissertation, I said if it's personal, and Monique has been personally bitten in the ass by Oprah, by Tyler herself, by all the people who she blasting. So when she come for that ass, she's rightfully justified. Her ass was got, and now she got an ass.
Okay, so she was versatile.
Well, no, I think it was actually personal when Oprah went behind her back to interview her family without her knowing. So that was dirty on Oprah's part too.
Well, she actually brought them on the show to talk about their family issue, and Monique did not know that they were going to be on the show. Is actually what happened. So she was kind of caught in that regard. But I mean,
and who does that? I mean, what well-respecting, wealthy TV host like Oprah, who so-called specializes in spirituality and look at this acorn and it was cancer and shit. Like what type of individual would bring somebody's family members on without their knowledge to get into some heavy shit on that?
Understand that, a lot of times we look at Oprah and think of Oprah now, but remember way back when, and although many of us wasn't watching Oprah, then Oprah was the Jerry Springer.
She was ratchet and
I wasn't born back then, but I saw the replays.
Well, I think Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels are gatekeepers, and Gada Bay, Sita Bay, whatever her name is, who was on Empire. She talked about Lee Daniels and how Lee Daniels didn't prepare her to go push Precious, and how Lee Daniels and Mr. Talley called her a fat bee when they were trying to put her on Vogue, and she couldn't understand how he was calling her that, and he was like, well, isn't he fat too? So these people are gatekeepers. They do ugly stuff. I think there's a dark side to it. The reason why I brought up Monique is, well, maybe Jaguar Wright is going through a situation where people done screwed her, and she says, look, I don't have nothing to lose. I don't have nothing to lose, and I'm gonna tell it because y'all are foul. So,
she ain't telling it out of good virtue. Like what Jaguar Wright is doing is capitalizing off of an industry that she knows she can optimize in regarding gossip and tabloid fake news bullshit.
Okay,
don't Fox News do it every day?
But just like
that's why she's doing what she's doing. And secondly, the reason why I can't really pay Jaguar Wright too much attention is because she was aware of the woes and the ills and the pitfalls of the industry, and she wanted to do what she needed to do to sit at the table until they told her, it's a no for us, sis. And so I don't want to hear people who try to bite the ass of massa then come back like Omarosa did when she got dragged by her fucking ponytail out of the White House, and then wanted to pander to the black community, and then spill all this tea about Trump after you done licked all up off in his ass. Like,
yeah,
I don't have no sympathy for it.
Right. But don't you think people on all spectrums of some sort of entertainment do the same thing? Like, we could look at YouTube and look at many people who have taken other people's situations and exploited them to gain extra followers, money.
I mean, I'm conversation about whether it's right or wrong is another thing. I'm just saying that that's why she's doing it. She didn't make it in the music industry. And she's having her get 15-minute run on social media because what she wants to bring to the table completely works. I mean, what she's doing is no different from what Tasha K does. It's no different from what Wendy Williams did in terms of just specializing in the salacious, lowball, like below the waist ass rhetoric.
Yeah, because I think people become kind of wanting to know the behind the scenes stuff, and I think that's what draws the people in. Somebody who,
and that's what makes social media, because back then it wasn't a lot of social medias. So of course a lot of stuff back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, wasn't exploited back then because it wasn't social media. It wasn't everybody wasn't talking and aware. It's like you had to be in these places. Just like Jaguar Wright, I didn't know who she was, like for real. Like I really still don't know who she is, but I just know she used to be a background singer and with all these celebrities and stuff like that, and was with a lot of them had SS. So, and just like Jay Wilson said, it's a lot of gatekeepers, just like Jay and Beyonce in there. And I know I don't really care, but I believe that they in the Illuminati and shit like that. And if that's how, what's her name, got blackballed too, the singer. I'm sorry to cut it off, but
you're fine.
Carrie Hilson. You know what I'm saying? She got blackballed out of the industry. It's a lot of people. Just like if you say certain stuff about this particular person, then you done. Like, no, I just feel like, no, that's not cool. It's not right.
Well, we should learn from YouTube. And like I told you all earlier, even though we're not all celebrities or what have you, it's a lesson to be learned about what people will do on here to make it, and they'll do the same thing there. So if they're doing it here over a few coins, then you can imagine what they're doing over those big coins over there. And that's why,
it's like a crash course, and you get it just on a smaller scale.
How many people have been friends and now they tearing each other the hell up? It is what it is. And so people are going to do what they got to do to gain traction. If that means trashing somebody, that's what they're going to do.
But this is my thing with Jaguar Wright. But this is my thing with Jaguar Wright. If I chose to suck P. Diddy's dick to get a record deal, I'm trying to understand, like, why you feel the need to tell it. I felt the need to do it. I don't understand why you felt the need to tell it. I did it. If I wanted motherfuckers to know, that's what they would know. I'm just trying to understand at what point you just mind your damn business. Like, I
think because it's a little bit of some jealousy there. I mean, let's not forget when she had a single out and she was pumping through the streets. Jill Scott, that we know today, was one of her backup singers. So to see your backup singer surpass you, I'm sure
like on YouTube.
I'm sure it's hurtful to see somebody surpass you when they calling you the king, the queen, or whatever, and then somebody comes along and now some other people are calling you. You may feel slighted, but who gave you that? Did you give yourself that title, or?
Here is my issue with Jaguar Wright, though. She never looked in the mirror and actually said,
"What did I do?"
Accountability for
not even accountability, but like if we're following the premise of what God has for me is for me, bitch, it wasn't for you under any circumstances. Whether you got on your knees or whether you tried to be a virgin and go along the path in the righteous way, you're not being clear about the fact that you are not cut out for what you were trying to do, boo. And at some point, you got to stop blaming everybody else and finding fault in who got their pussy banged out in the back of Bad Boys, who got their pussy banged out in the was underneath the Hot Boy studio, and just actually accept that what was given to you as a career, what was put in your hand, that was for you. The issue with Jaguar is she can't accept that little portion was hers and hers alone, because sometimes we let our egos entitle us to a bigger piece of the pie than what it is God actually has for us in this life. Sometimes you gotta fall back and say, thank you, God, I came, I saw, I conquered. I appreciate all the little festival tours I had, all the little songs I wrote, all the little coin I made, honey, all the little state fair stages that I was blessed to fucking sing on. Like, I thank you, Lord, because there's plenty of people who never even want to get that opportunity. Jaguar Wright, even though she's completely dissatisfied with her position, is still sitting in a position that 99.9% of artists will never have the opportunity to. So I think there's some fucking gratitude that she needs to align herself with, because this bitter Betty shit, that shit is nuts.
Well, look at Jill now. You know, people always hold you to the toast of the town, but you know, this is why you got Lady Gaga putting on meat dresses and stuff, because this industry is about relevance. And if you're not in the eyes of those people who make the decisions, you're out. I just laugh at the women rappers because they stay fighting. But when the industry is tired of you, then they're gonna reign and they're gonna crown another person. Cardi B may be hot right now, but she's gonna be gone too. The thing is, though, I'm afraid for Jaguar White, because we see what happened to our boy Cat. When you start talking about their secrets, then they come. That's the thing about the industry.
Cat Williams too, yeah.
That's the thing about the industry. It's like a drug. If we doing drugs together, then I know you ain't gonna tell, I ain't gonna tell, so we do this together. But as soon as you step out of that, then you telling my business, then we got a problem. And I just think the industry is like that. And let me say this: if she was hunching, somebody gonna spill that tea on her too, because you can't be around it and ain't doing it.
That is true. What'd you say, Rico?
I was gonna say the same thing. He hit it on the nose. And how does she know if Mary J. Blige a lesbian or whatever? Unless you was around it. I mean, you can be straight and have gay friends or whatever. But you saying all this stuff about all these different celebrities and all that, you got to be a lesbian too on the down low too.
But yeah, even though you could be let me say this: I've been around people doing white girl and all that. I don't do it. I'm not much of a drinker. I can be around people doing things, but what you're doing don't affect me, because I'm a strong enough person that I know I just don't do it.
But that's you, Rebel. But let me say this: you can't keep on hanging around folk who do white girl because they ain't comfortable with you, because you're not doing it. So you are strong enough. But see, folk who doing it don't like folk because it makes them feel conscious of what they're doing.
I'm about to piggyback off of Rebel. Like there is an old saying that birds of a feather flock together, but when it comes to archetypal structures, there's also something called the black sheep. So you can be amongst a lot of people who do nothing alike. You can be in households with people doing things you don't do, come from families of people who do things you don't do, live in neighborhoods with people who do things that you don't do. So yes, birds of a feather can flock together. That is a truth, but you can also be a black sheep. Those people exist within those spheres too.
Yeah, but when you're in that industry again, and I go back to the industry because this ain't like a neighborhood. This is stuff that will give people something to drink so they can get on stage and do it, because they don't give a darn about the person. They just give a darn about their money. So, you know, all I'm saying is that there are a lot of secrets. And like I said, with Cat Williams, thank God for some conscious people so he could be in Atlanta. But when he started talking about them Hollywood Hill parties and all of that stuff that went on, he immediately went downhill. I'm telling you, and that's just not by coincidence.
Yeah. Boy, this is something.
I was going to make one more point just before we get off the conversation. I was going to say that I just feel like what makes you shit, like Rebel said, it don't make me. So I just feel like if I ain't laying in bed with you, why should I know who you laying in the bed with? But also, if we don't know all these things, then what would we be talking about as media outlets and stuff like that? It wouldn't be no news or none of the hot people out on YouTube like Tasha K, Armand Wiggins and stuff like that. So it kind of go hand in hand too.
Yeah, because people want to know the dark behind the closet details, like
VH1, music and all of that stuff.
Right. All right, so moving right along to the next one. So we have Pastor Thaddeus.
Okay.
So he was recently the cussing pastor.
Even got his style and color. Oh, sorry.
The cussing pastor, as he is known, was recently on Jason Lee gagging show, and he spoke about not giving up his love for sex just because he's a pastor. Now, the audience, some people challenged him on his beliefs and they felt some type of way about it. But my question is to you, men, how should men of the cloth, should they be held in a higher standard than everybody else?
Mm.
And what are your thoughts? And I'll start with you, Rico.
Wow, you gonna put it right on me. I was gonna say you should ask the pastor up here.
You've been with a lot of them. Go ahead and let us know.
I am.
Have I been with a pastor? Yeah, I have. But I
know you from Detroit. You from Detroit? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm from Detroit, so I used to hustle. So
okay. So
but anyway, getting back to the question, do you think that the pastor should be held at a higher standard?
I'm just sorry. I'm just in the joking spirit. I got a joke with Jay Wilson.
I know you're fine. I'm just messing. But
do I feel like
at the moment?
Honestly, no, because we are human at the end of the day. We are fucking human. So I mean, no, not like that, because we all fall. I mean, we all shit, bleed, die, and everything else. Ain't nobody Christ. At the end of the day, we can all, have inspiration and get a word and stuff like that. However, I do feel that the pastors shouldn't be riding in all these Benzes and private jets and stuff, living off of the money and pimping the system and stuff. I disagree with that. But as far as them being higher to the God, higher or whatever, no.
Okay.
That's just my honest opinion.
All right. Rebel, how about your thoughts?
I think he's just, listen, I have to respect that this man is saying this, because he's saying what the other pastors are doing and just not saying a lot of them. And I think that his truth and just being open about it, I could go to his church. And, I'm not into organized religion at all, but I would like someone that was more forthcoming like him, as opposed to someone that's preaching against the gays and he's sucking peen through a glory hole, in Atlanta.
Right, that part. How about you, Conscious?
Well, me and the custom pastor definitely have two things in common. We have a profound love and attraction and wonderment regarding profanity and cuss words. My God, I just can't live without a nice piece of cuss word, honey. As progressive as I am, I actually have to agree with the audience. I feel like there should be a certain standard when it comes to men and women of the cloth. I feel like because we are a pack species, human beings obviously require examples in order to know what's possible. If you have a bunch of mediocre people standing in a high place doing mediocre and low things, I think that that's a total disservice to what could be powerful examples of legacy, powerful examples of integrity and strength of intelligence. And I think that it leaves too much room for God knows what when people say that practically I will assume the most powerful positions within the community while also not holding myself accountable to anything simply because I can. I mean, if that's what you're going to be, I don't even think your leadership is even really necessary. Let the church lead itself. So I do think that men of the cloth should be held to a different standard, not an unrealistic one, but certainly to a standard. And I don't appreciate. He's an honest sinner, and that's perfectly fine. But I want him to honestly sit his ass down as well. As the pastor, that is.
Okay. Jay Wilson.
This is America, and people have the right to not go to his church or to go to his church. I could really care less what the man did, because like Rebel said, we had a pastor in Orlando, good looking dude, on drugs, and died of an overdose in a hotel room in New York. We have these people sneaking and creeping. We got that pastor eating that kulala over there like a buffet at Golden Corral. And so my thing is, these people are repressed and they doing it anyhow. And my thing is, they are co-laborers. They're not God. And like Rico said, now I want people to be held to the same standard. I want presidents to be held to the standard. If we're gonna hold people to the standard, let everybody be held to the standard. Because we act like these people are God. Now, everybody has a different conscience and what they do. People can always talk about this man having sex and all of this stuff, but yet they'll have them lottery tickets ready to go forth, and that's not a problem. My thing is, run your own race. And you know what? At the end of the day, you're going to have to stand before God. Not me for you. You're going to have to stand before God. So even though I may not agree with certain things, I think he has every right, and at least he's realistic with it. And that's the problem. We have these unrealistic expectations. And that's why pastors' kids are in the mess that a whole lot of them in, because we have set expectations for folk that we can't even meet ourselves. So my thing is, you know what? We are all works in progress, and where we need to improve, we need to improve. But if the man say he having sex, I could at least deal with him, because I know what I'm getting into when I go here, instead of going to these other places where they'll steal your wife in counseling and rape your sons and daughters in other areas. So, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like that, but that's the real skinny of it. And I'd rather have somebody who's realistic and telling me than somebody who up there faking it and then doing it. Whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I do agree with you, Jay Wilson, on part with just the realness of it. I mean, we get so caught up in this fairy tale kind of thing in which we don't look at pastors and people of cloth as just human beings first. We automatically ascend them to this place higher than the rest of us, and they fall short just like we do. And in the same thing, we have a president where he himself is far below anybody we've held in some kind of high standard, and we keep dropping the bar a little lower every time he says something extra. So
somebody has a window open somewhere, because I'm hearing some.
There's an echo.
I don't have mine. Let me see. I don't even have it open. This is the thing too. It's really interesting that a lot of Pentecostal people feel like they're more holier than the Baptist folk. So there are always levels of people feeling superior to someone. And at the end of the day, you make a decision to go to those churches. And like Rico said, we getting upset because the man being real, but yet we can have pastors getting jets and talk about something they need to do this for the Lord and exploit people all over their money, and having people spend their fixed income about to get evicted because we want this. There's a pastor in Dallas, and they're now in Florida, and they act like they're helping the homeless, but yet they get these people to register for benefits, and they taking it, and they use these people to beg on the street to get dollars and stuff. And I'm like, are you serious? So let me tell you something. That man having sex when he grown and them two consent adults, I'd rather deal with that than exploiting homeless people for their benefits.
Right.
And another thing, like, why can't you have sex? I mean, we are human. We are fornicating. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, how you think we got here? You know what I'm saying? So,
everybody ain't fornicating, but my thing is,
you name one person in this world right now in 2020 that ain't having sex until they married. Because I ain't seen it.
Well, it's a lot of people out there. A lot of Catholic nuns out there.
Even the nuns, they freaks too, just like just like you just said.
I said I was gonna wait till I got married and then I turned to 11.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's.
I'm not with you.
That's my opinion.
I'm not with you. I mean, yeah, there are some people who do hold out till they're married, but then there are some people that just they don't wait and they've done it. But that's a real thing. I think we need to.
Unless you did it before and then you go celibate. I can see that.
Well, I mean, then that wouldn't count.
Well, this is America, and people can worship what they want and worship what they want. And like I said, we have a diverse group here, and I'm sure there are some staunch conservative evangelicals that don't like some members of our cast. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, because as long as this is America, people should be able to worship the way they want. They need to go to what congregation they want to go to. And if that's not your cup of tea, then don't pour it. Okay, get something that's going to benefit you.
So it's the question of what people have the right to do, or it's the question about the standard of pastoralship when it comes to the Christian church?
Well, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing right there. So who's to say that your standard is right and that other person's standard is wrong? So my thing is this: it depends on what you think, because pastoral standards are different. Some of my American Baptist friends think that some of what these churches do are just hideous because they don't get education. So my thing is this: should we look down with people who don't have education?
This is exactly why the Christian church of the Western world is a complete joke. It's because there are no gatekeepers, and the gatekeepers who are there are weak and allow for any type of buffoonery to go onto the stage, because this is the land of the free. And as long as the church continues to tolerate and set the bar so low for their leaders, they're going to continue to be powerless. That power that they should be using to go clear up all these hospitals of all these COVID patients will never happen. All these bodies that are being backed up that they should have the power to raise up back to life, they're never going to do, because Western mystics, the Western church has set the bar so low. So as long as the church is fine and get in where you fit in at, girl, and I can call myself Mother Mary and be your old salacious whore out here, because we can do what we want to do, and we can doctor up the language and doctor up the titles, and we can mix oil and water, and we can have all these hybrids of all this shit. And then when the church ain't serving no justice, and damn sure ain't serving no truth, then we want to get up and talk shit. No, remember, it is the land of the free.
Well, it is. That's why
the church has the right to be that low if that's what they want to be.
Well, I hate to disagree with you. Most of our healthcare facilities are church facilities, so people are healing during COVID. It's called Methodist, Jewish, Catholic, Christ Church, Adventist Healthcare. So they're doing the job. And at the end of the day, if churches really had the standard, then you wouldn't be a part of it.
Why would I want to be a part of it?
Be a part of it? Well, that's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't
be a part of it. You wouldn't be a part of it.
I wouldn't be a part of the church in no direction. Church left leg on the right leg.
Well, I'm saying that you're talking about a standard, then they will say you don't have one.
I don't give a damn what they say. I don't give a damn what they say. I'm on the panel.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You are free to be you. Period. So
we know that. I judge that. But the question ain't about freedom.
I just rest my case.
I think that we're all aware about constitutional rights. I think that we're all aware about all creative liberty.
I rest my case.
Hold on. We cannot hear everybody talking at one time. Go ahead, Conscious, let him finish.
But the question was, should men of the cloth, be held to a standard? And the gospel, according to CTV, is yes.
Jay Wilson.
At the end of the day, people live their lives, and I have teachers. Yes, teachers should be held to standard when they're at school and so on and so forth. But you know what? After they leave that classroom, they should have freedom to live their life just like everyone else, because they're human beings. And until we get a glorified body, then everybody gonna have issues, and nobody has their glorified body yet. So I think each his or her own. If you want to belong to the OG church and be holy, go over there. If you want to go to the AME church and
my holy
on, then go on over there, because they're always going to be
say this. I'm gonna get my commentary.
Holier. So
I feel this too. Were you saying that the churches should be they should be a little bit. They should be higher to a standard to this damn, I'm up here, but to this degree, I'm sorry. Because at the same time, why should a man be asking, like I said, for money, riches, and passing them plates around and all of that, and then they be cheating on their wives, they be beating on their wives? It's a lot of people that's undercover. But how do you how do you a person get to that way anyway? We all had to go through something like for a change, and all of us, we all struggle even to this day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's you have to go through a transition, and like that's what I'm trying to say. You have to go through a transition.
But my issue with what, because Rico just touched on it, the honest people, honest Christians are able to say this is a struggle, while you have cussing pastors saying this ain't a struggle, this ain't even sin, this ain't even out of line, this ain't even out of order, this ain't even this ain't even improper. Now the same body of people hold everybody else to the standard, because it's people who I'm sure who only go to church when somebody in their family died, and yet I said a few cuss words, honey, and some people about to pass out. Some people, that conservative, like the selective outrage be crazy. And what I'm saying is that what's good for the goose is good for the gander, honey. It's like, but you can't have it both ways. Now, I don't think that anybody on this panel would, for those who believe in Jesus, would have even believed that took Jesus seriously if he paraded around like the cussing pastor, yet the cussing pastor gets to say he is a disciple of Christ nonetheless, and should be given a free reign without critique, and should be given a free reign without constructive criticism. Because if Christ had parading around fucking and sucking and doing everything under the sun, saying he was the son of God, nobody would even be identifying as Christian, because there was a standard that was created, and there was a standard that was assimilated to. And I agree that being honest and say these are my struggles. I got a foreign ass spirit. I have my hormones get the best of me. That's my struggle as a man. But that's different from saying, let me put my face in your titties, and I'm gonna be fucking, and I'm gonna be fucking, and I'm gonna be eating, and I'm gonna be whatever, and live your life. And goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, in his defense, he was saying that he does it as a way of meeting the people where they are. So okay.
Sorry.
You can meet them in the pulpit. You on the stage. You belong in the pulpit with, like, you belong in the congregation with them. Go meet them in the down in the altar. Go have a seat with them.
Well, he's saying
they still go to this church. Let me say this: if he was, people go to that church for a reason, and they go, and that's their.
Yeah, I mean, they probably go because they feel like he connects with them, because he talks like them. He has the same desires as they do.
Okay, so what's keeping them from calling themselves pastor? I sell drugs. I'm a pastor.
He probably just felt he was
I'm a hoe and I'm a pastor. Just let it, honey. The church can have it. The church can have it. Good night.
Well, I mean, would you say the same about pastors who happen to be same gender loving or LGBT? It would kind of fall in the same thing. You don't think?
No, because that ain't even what the scriptures say about same gender loving. And that's a whole nother conversation.
Well, I'm just asking for someone who would ask the question.
Because people will feel that they're called to preach. Some people
people can reference me and Jay Wilson's collaboration video on his channel when we had that conversation about that topic, if they want to be informed.
Okay. And thank you so much, Sweet Tea, for the super chat. Thank you. Yeah. What you about to say? Somebody about to say something? Oh, okay. All right. Moving right along.
Rico, okay, Rico, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I know you
It's
did.
on the charger. Jesus.
Anyway, we have reached the hour and 10 minutes. And with that, we are closing towards the end of our show.
That's the longest you've ever went.
Are we closing?
Are we? An hour and 30 minutes.
Well, I mean, what we could do, I could drop the link and let the chat, if they have any questions that they want to ask any of the gentlemen. I'm only going to allow about 5 for
Yes, drop the link.
So,
and you got to show your face.
Whoever hit it first, you get it. So that's what we'll do. And yeah. So you can ask any question that you choose. So if it's too crazy, you will get knocked out.
Chopped.
But if you can keep it to the topics that we talked about tonight, you're definitely welcome. We would like to hear your point of view or how you felt on a particular issue. No, that's Rico. He came back.
Rico had to pee. Somebody said he had to pee.
You have to pee, Rico.
Hey, no, Rico. That's what Sarkonis said. Just only read.
Oh, there you go. There go the money shot.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
T-shirt. Yeah, that's
right.
What does 10 stand for?
Bartender.
Okay.
The bartenders.
I like that.
Shirt. What does 10 stand for? He asked.
10 stand for completion. That's my favorite number.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, while we're waiting, if in fact anybody does pop up, Jay Wilson, what do you have planned this week?
The outlets are having 70% off sale, so I will be there.
Even with Texas locking down as it should, which is not.
I got a mask. I mean, you know what I'm saying, and I'm going social distance.
Okay.
But that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'll be on for Sunday.
Okay.
So I might come on and let everybody know what's going on. So for you Brahmin bag lovers, 70% off the whole store plus additional 15. So be there.
And Rebel Son, it's nice to see you. We haven't seen you in a while. You've been a little MIA. So what will you be doing this week?
A weekend filled with unbridled passion.
Oh
Lord.
Is that what the absence is?
No, I'm kidding. You know what? No, I'm just listen, it's gonna be I work this weekend because I'm gonna be off after I work Saturday and Sunday, and I'll be off for the next 7 days after that.
Okay.
I plan on just, maybe getting with a few friends because I'm kind of a little hesitant about larger groups of people, even family, because my family's trying to do something big for Thanksgiving and no one wears masks and they think you're immune to COVID because we share a genetic tie, which is not true. So I definitely will do a lot of video camming with my family. We've started doing more Zoom and we've started getting the older family members into doing, just video chat, let's just see how each other's doing and, just reading because, I'm still writing and it's just, I've done a lot of more writing and fleshing out some of the characters that I've put in. I've did some changes, but, I do a lot of watching comics and I research and trying to get my characters together. That's it.
Okay. And how about you, Conscious?
Just resting. I had a very action-oriented birthday weekend, and it's been an even more crazier week. So I'm just gonna be.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm on a pogo stick.
Right. And Rico, first of all, thank you for joining us tonight on the Gentleman's Panel.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all.
We always like when you come here.
You know what?
Yes.
Anyway,
I need to come to Texas, so I will be in Texas. Cause I gotta handle some things with a mud in Texas.
Ooh. Okay. So anyway,
we have rabies. There's rabies. So you got to be careful because those mutts do bite and they're contagious.
Anything that you have
Our eyes
planned this
don't
week?
get you, baby. You get electrocuted going over it all.
Chupacabra. We call
I
it
know with the power lines.
Let me tell you something.
Is there anything that you have planned this week on your channel, sir?
I'm
Oh, let me be serious for real now. All right. I don't really have nothing planned this weekend. I'm just like real chill. What I have been focusing on my content is like making these edit videos.
Right.
So I try to do mashup songs, and I need to get back into my regular celebrity gossip, entertainment news, and make sure that y'all go download the Bartenders Club. It's actual single out. Okay, for the bartenders in the house. It's on Amazon Music, Apple Music, Google, Spotify, everywhere.
Can I dance in the next video?
Huh?
Rico, can I be one of the dancers in the next video?
Oh yes, you can. I
I
heard you was
ballet and
up in Alaska, so you can most
I don't
definitely.
know. I don't know Rebel though, because he had ZT on there, and I don't know.
I see dinner served.
You know what? We gotta stop holding things on people. We can't hold the past. You can't hold people to the things in their past. We have to look towards their future. Come on, Jay Wilson. You should
Yeah,
know
but
that.
he's a fake CNA nurse, so that's why I clowned him in Atlanta. Period.
Anyway, hi Antonio. Thanks for joining.
Hi.
You took the dicks off, I see.
For now, just for now.
I hope so.
Oh, you got the PO too.
You better
Yes.
Trey. Come on now. I ain't mad at you. Come on.
Early and stuff.
This
But
is
anyway.
in Florida. Come on.
Best of all this red and green and Christmas trees, and someone gonna be stuffing the stocking tonight as well, I'm sure.
It's gonna be all the Edith pussy.
shout out. A shout out to a pagan holiday.
No, you're right. Okay.
But I did want to say you guys did a great show tonight. Very interesting topics, very engaging. I actually agreed with a lot of the things said, because normally I'm like, okay, I agree with this person and I disagree with that person. But tonight was like, okay, all this was really good, and I agree with pretty much what everybody said. Different points of view, and they all had good points.
Example of 3.
Like in regards to the stuff with the pastors, where Conscious was pretty much saying that there's a standard for certain pastors that, you know, some people agree with and some people don't. And I believe it was you, Jay Wilson, who said that you know what you're getting into. Like if a pastor says this is what it is, then at least you know what you're walking into. And that makes complete sense. Like I used to go to Jamal Bryant's church before he moved to Atlanta, and there was one service where he said these hoes ain't loyal, and it turned into this whole thing.
Yeah.
But if you knew him, you would know he's a down to earth pastor. So for him to say something like that, it wasn't the people who in the congregation. They weren't concerned. They were like, oh, okay, whatever. He just said it, but it made sense. It chimed into the service. But the people on the outside who didn't go to the church, they found an issue with it, and he had to issue an apology. Which
I don't know why it helped him well in Atlanta.
See, I haven't been keeping up with him since he moved to Atlanta, so I don't know how that's going.
He filling the seats, and Giselle ain't getting with him for nothing. She's thank she ain't on the payroll at New Birth. Okay, but you know what? People know what they getting into.
Yeah, they do. They know. Jamal Bryant is whatever. They know. But like I said, either way, a very good show, guys. Very entertaining. I love the different points of view. Very nice to meet you, Rico. We don't know each other. You probably never even seen me, but I chime in.
No, this is my first time seeing you, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, it's nice to meet you. I chime in on Captivating Christians Tuesday nights, and we do a show every week.
Political and talk.
They do an adult themed conversation.
Yes,
it'll be
we do a
this Friday,
nightcap.
actually.
Oh yeah, I like you opening up.
Them in bondage.
We gonna do
That was
adult
nice.
stuff too. Okay, so go on over and check him out. He do adult stuff. I think y'all co-op. Y'all real unified there.
What you mean, Pastor? What you mean, Pastor?
I'm trying to figure out where you're going with that one, because ours is just talk. So I don't know. And again, are we holding someone to their past?
Rico is talking. Rico is asking.
Hold up.
You know what?
Hold up. I call BS. Are you trying to hold Rico to his past?
No,
Exactly, because
I celebrate Rico in his past. I think his past made him who he is today.
And I'll applaud Rico. Let me tell you, Rico, you're doing big things.
what?
Let me say this. I never hated Rico. I thought Rico knew how to play the system, and it was good for what it was. I don't hate people. Rico have come on my channel many times, so it's a good bar.
You still got me blocked over there, but
I'm sorry, Rico. I'm gonna have to unblock you. But Rico ain't never tried to dox me. Rico ain't never did that. So
no, I just like to shade the pastor. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he shaded me, but I'm telling you what, he got shaded by Powerline in the end, and I told you. Okay, let me stop. Let me feel something coming on.
There you go.
You better leave my big brother alone, Jay.
Rico, my baby. That's my baby, Rico.
My baby.
You know what? Okay. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, it is an hour and 20 minutes. And we would like to thank you all for joining us here at the Gentleman's Panel. Before we go, whose turn is it for next week?
Fun Tribe.
All right. So make sure that we are over at the Sun Tribe.
Sun Tribe, yes.
Okay.
Rebel Sun.
Bring your drinks and, it'll be a great show.
And definitely, like always, once again, we want to thank Rebel.
Where's Mark J. Wilson?
Who?
Where's Mark?
I don't know. I'm so sad.
Anyway, we want to thank Rico.
We want to know where Mark
We want to thank Rico for coming on. Thank you, Rico.
Nice to meet you, Rico. Oh,
Thank
okay.
Oh my God, you're so rude.
And all right, Gentlemen's Panel. It's been real. It's been nice. Everybody have a great night. God bless and good night. We're out.